Welcome, folks. The inaugural episode. You probably clicked something on Instagram on a story and you were like, oh, this looks interesting. And then you ended up here. And now you have to stay. That's the agreement. This is the first. What does the word seminal mean, Evan? Is that
seminal? I have no idea.
Okay. So this is the seminal, because we don't know what that means. The seminal episode of the Big Friday podcast, where your program is always a suggestion and maxing out is encouraged. I am your friendly neighborhood squat father, squat poppy, squatty poppy, whatever you want to call me. I don't mind. I don't mind. And then we got our very own assistant coach, Evan Smith, on the pod.
That is me. Hello, everybody.
Evan, tell them one quirky thing about yourself. One normal thing about yourself, one quirky thing about yourself, and then one silly thing about yourself.
Normal, quirky, silly. Normal. Type of guy who's in bed at 9 o'clock every night. 9 to 10. 10 o'clock they're cut off. Quirky.
I hate that I said quirky.
Yeah, that's a word, isn't it? I have no idea. Quirky, I fiddle with a Rubik's Cube all the time.
Okay.
And then silly, when my medications start to wear off at night, I just spit out accents left and right.
Do you remember, this is unrelated, do you remember the guy on Instagram who used to be able to like squat a lot and he would solve like a Rubik's Cube on the squat?
Yeah, and he always had his pinky off because he had like some sort of like, he was a thrower, I think.
I believe his name was Armenian Strength, if I remember correctly.
It was Armenian something, 100%.
Okay.
But that was back in what, like 2016, 2017?
Yeah, dude, where'd you go? Where did you go?
Bring him back. Probably you saw the WADA scandal.
It was.
They took him.
All right, guys.
They took him what they always do.
As with all great podcasts, this needs to start with a call to action. So I will iterate this on this one and every episode to follow. If you are listening on Spotify, watching on YouTube, whatever, maybe you printed this episode out and then now you're reading it. You can feel free to take a picture, post it on your Instagram story, tag @GiftedBarbellClub, and make sure you do this. Make sure you tag your coach as well. And we @GiftedBarbellClub at the Big Friday Pod will reach out to your coach to let them know that you are allowed to max out, because that is the spirit of the day. Listening to this on the biggest Friday of them all, which is the current one. So let us get you your free max out card.
We hand them out like they're hotcakes. Come on, come on.
All right. Let's start with some housekeeping, Evan. I have people that I want to have on the podcast. I have demands.
Don't get at those people, Ryan.
The first one that I would like to have on is a powerful figure in the world of weightlifting. He or she, they, I'm not sure of the pronoun situation on this one. This might be a they, them situation, but because I really don't know. But the first person we'd like to have on is the weightlifting AI. So the AI itself that controls the weightlifting house app.
It's steps away from becoming sentient. I don't see why that's not possible.
If it can spit out like when you're supposed to do block cleans versus traditional cleans from the floor, I can't see why it wouldn't be able to go on a podcast.
No. And if we're starting to print out transcripts of this podcast too, we can just set it up in like a chat. And there we go.
Yes. If unfortunately the AI hasn't made it to that stage yet, do you think that 7 Max would be alternative? They control it, right? They kind of have like the leash on it for now.
I feel like that's the image they put towards the public, but I'm sure the weightlifting AI is actually on the back end making sure that 7 Max are doing what they're supposed to do at this point.
Pulling the strings at Weightlifting House now.
Yeah, 100%. But no, if 7 Max were to hop on in place of the weightlifting AI, we could make do.
The second person, again, not really a person, they, them situation here, just because I was thinking of it because you texted me yesterday. I started a fat loss phase. That's why I'm looking so svelte and so sexy. I'd like to have the RP Diet app on. I'd like to just have a conversation with the AI behind the RP Diet app.
Just, see what's going on in there.
I gotta know.
To understand a little bit more about what the motivation is behind how it treats its clients, right?
I need to know what the if-then formulas are that control that AI. If weight loss insufficient, then murder?
Question mark? That Boolean logic is worth millions to so many people.
Does anyone use the RP Diet app anymore?
I hope not. This is not sponsored by RP.
If you couldn't tell already, we are getting no money from the RP Diet app. Have you ever tried it? I've actually never tried it, so I shouldn't talk smack. Have you ever tried it?
I did. Back when it first came out, I had used the templates back when I was doing CrossFit and loved the templates. And then when the app came out and they phased out the templates, I was like, let's see what this is about.
Oh, let's do the template.
My Fitness. I don't think so. I might be wrong on that. But no, the app is just confusing. Or it was back then. I'm sure it's
It's confusing or it is confused. Or both.
Yes.
Those are not mutually exclusive.
The answer is yes. Confusion is underlined.
Okay. Third on my list, weightlifting's sweetheart herself, Miss. Does she need a translator? Miss Toma Loredana?
I don't think she does.
I think she speaks English, right? This isn't like a Lasha situation, right?
No, I think she speaks English. It may not be as fluent as a native speaker, but she absolutely does. Because what? She was talking to Yasmin at Worlds.
Okay. I'm not convinced that what I speak is fluent anymore. I think I've descended too low.
Is that Floridian English?
That's probably too many bush lattes in my system.
Or Coronaritas
has cooked itself. Toma, if you want to bring your translator, and your translator is also an elite level weightlifter who's got a washboard belly and is the voice of her generation, bring her along. But if your translator is some weird Romanian dude with like 4 mustaches in different places on his body,
I think that's more impressive.
he can come too. You're right.
Bring the whole family.
He can come.
Or if there is no translator, we can just get Constantine, her coach, because he is a character from what I've...
Or let's not translate at all. Let's have an English and Romanian conversation where neither party understands each other and run with that.
It's an hour of silence and awkward stares into the camera.
How about, I know he speaks English, how about Ilya? Having good old Ilya on and Dmitry Klokov, same time. I feel like that is a heater of an episode. Just letting them talk to each other. This is not
one or the other
to each other.
Or no, both, right? But we can't have one or the other. No. Both same time or no.
Not interested. Ilya, if you want to come on, and I know you do, you're a fan of a podcast where this is the first episode, the seminal episode, talk to Dmitry. See if he can come on.
Or Dmitry. Hit up your boy Ilya. Get that fridge in here.
Either way.
Let's cool it down.
Either way. How about, he's like weightlifting's voice right now, kind of, on the male side. We talked about Toma. Dylan Cooper.
He's on the come up again.
And his dad.
He's back as a force.
Bradley could also come on. A lot of people don't know that about Dylan Cooper, that his dad is actually famous actor Bradley Cooper.
It is a little known fact. It's definitely one that he keeps close to the chest.
He hides.
He also get his doppelganger, Matt Damon, to come with.
Matt Damon?
Matt Damon.
What's that from? That from?
Isn't that Team America?
I think so.
Whatever it is, World Police.
How about Thomas
This one.
And Phil Andrews?
Really talk about the profitability of
that's an episode, right? We could talk about, from a marketing public standpoint, how the American Open is not a profitable experience for USA weightlifting, how it's just not an opportunity where money can be made. And then Thomas Ion can be like, let me tell you a little something about how we hand out gold medals where I'm from. And all of a sudden, Phil Andrews is like, wow, maybe I can make a return to USA weightlifting.
And that becomes a very big return to Moss's world.
I actually have one addition to this last one here. So on this last one, I said we want to have the AO pigeon on. I want the AO pigeon to bring animal control from the city of Columbus. But pigeons, notoriously hungry, what we could bring along is the USAW Nationals pizza.
I was actually about to bring that up because he had pizza. But the real people know, next to that, what was it, the platinum lot or was it the silver lot?
I think that was lot. I feel like that was the platinum lot. That's the platinum experience right there.
It's like Red Baron pizza sitting there in the walkway for that whole week.
Did you pay attention to what the toppings were?
It was a pepperoni pizza.
It was just straight peps?
Yeah. It was straight peps and cheese. Pigeons picking at it. You had it boiling in the sun.
Jake, and you just have the stuff. We need photos. The pizza, picture of a pigeon, Thomas Ion. Is he holding on to Phil Andrews?
Same
man. I don't know.
Klokov riding the pigeon, perhaps. Carrying Goya.
Riding the pigeon into battle. Ilya, unsuspecting, fueling up for war, eating the pizza.
You could see it. Who wins that fight? Klokov and the AO pigeon or Ilya powered by the Nationals pizza?
That's a good question. Ilya
save that for another episode.
Ilya looks like he's lactose intolerant. I look at him and he doesn't look like he has very much lactase enzyme in his body.
No, these days he looks like he's probably a little gluten-free too.
Honestly, at this point, he kind of looks like he's turned into milk. His body has descended into bag of milk. Whereas Klokov is just looking absolutely... Is Klokov hot? He's pretty hot, right? He's pretty hot guy, right?
He's a handsome devil.
He is.
He's a handsome devil. He's only gotten better with age. He's like a fine cheese, a fine wine.
Does cheese get better with age?
Depends on the cheese.
Ah. What kind of cheeses get better with age? Like an aged...
The ones that do.
Cheddar. Oh, this is...
I'm not cheese sommelier.
Yeah, is that a term?
No, it is not. But it is.
All right. I need to find out what the word is. Cheese.
Cheese Seminole.
What is the name for a cheese expert? A fromager.
Oh, a fromage.
Google also says a cheesemonger. I feel like that's better. That might be a racial slur at this point.
We should get a cheese expert onto the podcast. That can be another episode.
Yeah. Who in USAW, actually international weightlifting, who looks like the biggest cheese expert? Gore Manassian. That guy.
Yeah.
That guy's looking like a chunk of blue cheese with legs on it.
He does. Or is he more of those one of those Baby Bell cheeses in the wax?
Oh, no, cute. You're right. That's right. He's like...
That's more Gore. That's more Gore.
Yeah.
Whereas no Lollian is more like that, I'd say. Gore, you're right. Gore might be just like a hunk of like goat cheese.
I'm not convinced that Gore and Vazat are different people. I think that they are roughly the same person. Just kind of like gene splicing went a little wrong and they diverged just a bit. And they slowly just mutated a little bit. It was like a nature nurture kind of situation where Gore, I feel grew up in a very abusive, live under the stairs in a closet household. And Vazda really thrived. He ate a lot of Subway. His parents always treated him to double meat at Subway. And that's why
he eat fresh, yeah.
Yeah, he was eating fresh.
He was. $10, 2 foot longs, just crushing it.
Is that still the deal? We fact check that. The Subway.
No, a $5 foot long these days is $8.13 or something. $8.39.
Are you serious?
Inflation.
Is Subway doing $5 foot long? Deals are long gone. The chain is launching in the first. Hold up. Wait a minute. The chain is launching its first sandwich subscription service that will cut prices in half for the month of September.
Subway subscription service of September 23, or is this September 22 and we've missed it?
So Axios is saying as of August 22nd, 2022, that Subway has sold out of their foot-long pass subscriptions. That blows my fucking mind.
This is going to be one of those things. It's like that unlimited possible cards that Olive Garden gives out every now and then. You pay like $600 and you get like free pasta.
Does Olive Garden suck?
Does Olive Garden suck? I don't know. Depends on who you ask. It has its place.
Okay. What is its place?
Cheap, low quality Italian food.
Italian flavored food. I don't think we can call it Italian food.
It's microwaved food that tastes like it was made next to something that was being shipped to an Italian restaurant.
Like it was adjacent to something that was maybe Italian at one point.
Yes.
Cooked next to a map of the streets of Sicily or something. I don't know. I'm not an Olive Garden guy.
More of a
used to be great.
Like a Texas Roadhouse guy.
I could fuck the Texas Roadhouse. I can definitely. But that's like low quality American food, not masquerading as anything else. Olive Garden is low quality American food, pretending to be. It's got like a Mario mustache on. Like,
yeah, it's like the Wasp passes of Italian food.
This is a decent first date. Like I'm gonna fill up on breadsticks and like burp up sausage while I have sloppy sex with this girl later. It's one of those kind of situations.
Olive Garden has a marketing slogan: "We expect rocket."
Yeah, just put that on the next commercial. Just aware your what is there saying? When you're here, your family, throw it out. Bring in the future. We know what the kids want.
That's it. Sloppy first date with sloppy sex.
Is unrelated to sausage burps and sloppy sex. Do you follow, I think I would assume that you do. Do you follow Heels Over Toes guy?
Oh man, I've heard a thing or two about him.
I've heard a thing or two about him. I followed him like a while back when he was first getting started. Did you see apparently him or allegedly him, not sure if it's even a guy, allegedly like him and the ghostwriter for Gifted Barbell Club, which we're not going to tell you who that is. Could be Greg Everett, could be Klokov, could be Thomas Ion. You don't know who the fuck it is, and we're not going to tell you. Apparently, they tried to do like an Instagram live. Did you see this?
Yeah, they got put down, violating community guidelines or something. It looked like.
What are Instagram community guidelines anymore? What does the Instagram community stand for?
Who knows? They're probably
not the truth.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
As some weightlifting federation, the WADAs, the USAWs, the OOFs, the NASAs, you know.
So if you are a follower, if you're not, obviously go follow, but engage on that post. Heels Over Toes guy, got the ski masks on it. They were going to answer questions in their ski masks, not reveal their true identities. Let us know what you think of NSA, the White House, CIA, FBI. I'm pretty sure the Obamas are involved. They contacted the Trump family and they worked together to get this video taken down.
Dr. Shipweight character. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah. So really crossing the aisle to take down one figure. I mean, we obviously love weightlifting, but we don't know if it's that serious. Like, let these guys speak their truth.
Unless the truth harms the sport. Or maybe if that is the sport. Maybe it's what the people want to hear.
I mean, it's a very, very popular sport. You turn on ESPN basically at any time of the day, you're probably going to see the latest weightlifting highlights. You're going to see like a deep air on like Matty Rogers. You might hear some stuff about, like this fella, Kianush Rustami, a whole fucking fold in the latest ESPN magazine. It's just him sliding his unsocked foot over on the layout. And it just...
They're talking about that at the Georgia game last night.
Why? They did. They flashed.
They were halftime. Yeah. Say the Georgia's about. He was like this Georgia was his sock and spinner.
Yeah. So obviously we don't want to see the sport hurt. Like we don't want to see it taken off of ESPN, the Ocho at 2 a.m. We don't want to see that. But we do want to hear what these guys have to say, the truth. So if you can support the mission, please do. Go to patreon.com/CoachZT. And make sure you
Subscribe.
Donate. Yeah, make sure you hit the subscribe button over there.
And videos.
Yeah, directly to support the sport.
Speaking of heels over toes, I think he's coming up on his year anniversary.
Once
coming up, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. That's a weird thing for you to know, since you had only said you had only heard a few things about him.
I just pulled it up, you know?
Oh,
just thinking about it.
It's like a Joe Rogan. It's like a Joe Rogan, like Jamie situation. Like, hey, Jamie, pull that up for me.
You know, yeah, it's a Joe Rogan thing. We're gonna start talking about aliens here in a second.
Okay, all right. So yeah, I mean, congrats, making it a year. Shit posting usually doesn't last a year. You know, people they flame out quick, man.
They do.
Hey, what are your least favorite meme accounts in the weightlifting? You know who I don't fuck with is Coach Woo's PVC pipe. That guy,
that bastard,
can suck a dick. Just kidding.
He's gonna listen to this. I know who he is. He's gonna listen to this and be like, "What?"
That guy is a dick. There's no way for you to prove he's not the one who's been reporting heels over toes guy.
No, there is no way. He might be like Coach Wu has me.
Stay in your lane.
Or shit, that just slipped. Has heels over toes guy.
No one heard that.
No, you didn't. Cut that out. Put a bleep for it, Jake.
Who are your least favorite meme accounts at weightlifting, though?
Well, it's a tough one. We bring up a least favorite account, they're going to get publicity.
Ooh, that's right. So we're not going to name you, but you know who you are, unless you don't know who you are. And if you don't know who you are, we'll message you personally.
That's it. We're going to DM them directly after this and be like, we're not bringing you up. You know.
All right. But in all seriousness, some reminders. Every Monday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you can maybe, depending on Instagram, see this fellow heels over toes guy who has paid us royally to plug his page, as well as our gifted Barbell Club ghostwriter, answer your questions for Ski Mask Mondays, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right. Now, our question of the day, our topic of the day, it is a hot and spicy one right now because I feel like a lot of people feel like they've been left out in the cold by USAW. Let me preface this really quickly. Phil Andrews, former president of USAW, is a universally disliked individual, I would say, in the sport of weightlifting. Phil, I'm going to throw you a bone here. You weren't doing that bad because the people who took over for you are arguably doing even worse. And when we look at the American Open Series, it would appear that that is the case. So our big topic of discussion for today is AO Series 1 and the registration crisis. Evan, bring him up to speed. The hell's going on with registration? Why are people so pissed?
The hell's going on? Nobody knows. They capped it pretty dang early this year. They capped it at 1,000 athletes because anybody who was at AO1 last year or followed it was a record number of registrants and participants.
Which is not profitable, by the way.
Of which, no, not at all from a cost revenue standpoint. 1,800 registered, 1,400 competed, and the event had to be moved from the Arnold Expo Hall to what essentially was just, the redheaded stepchild of the whole expo being 15 minutes away from the event center. So that happened. And then the rest of the AO series throughout the year was also just a shit show. You didn't get the start list for finals until 2 days before, but now we have the start list for AO1 2 months in advance, and it's pretty well set out, preliminary schedules. And this year, it's also capped in terms of registration. It was capped at 1,050 for AO1 and University Nationals, and then that filled up, December? Early December?
Yeah.
And they put a wait list in place that was like $375 to get on it in case something opened up.
What is the benefit of capping it?
Exclusivity? Who knows? exclusivity, urgency.
If only there was a better way to make it more exclusive.
I want it to be.
No, I get the cap. You know me, usually I'm a big fan of no cap. There is no cap
critter
around me. But I get the idea of capping it, right? Like, it doesn't make sense to have like an H and a L and an M session. Like, stop telling your aunt to watch the live stream of the L session of AO1 where you posted, an 86 kilo qualifying total at, your local elementary school last weekend. Like, I get it. No one wants to watch that. It's not actually... There are local level meets for a reason. For stuff like that to happen, the joke around American Open not being a national meet, I think, is largely to do with the fact that the qualification totals are essentially a joke, right?
Yeah, but also you need to look at the point, and one of the big things that I always think about when people bring up that, it's a bad meet, it's not a national meet, it's qualified as a national meet on the website, but is it really? But it's one of those things that it's meant to grow the sport in the U.S., and that's its goal, is it's an accessible competition for a lot of people that can't throw 300 kilos over their head. But it's still that kind of limelight for them, their 15 minutes of fame, and then they go back and they say, hey, I competed at this thing, and it was really cool at a big fitness expo, and you should do it too, and it grows the sport.
So why not do American Open Series 1 through 20? If you want to give people the experience of like a bigger named meet and you want to have more people participating in it as a whole, why not just do more of them? Put 2 or 3 in every region. Put one in Atlanta, put one in Miami, put one in Tuscaloosa, put one in New York, put one in, Pittsburgh. Represent each region with an American Open. How many? There are 2, right? Currently, right? 1 and 2? Then there's finals?
Yeah, so 3, technically. But yeah, okay. That's it. And with the WSOs, that's something that a lot of people talk about is like, if this was to be fixed, how do you do it? Something like that, where it is more of a regional thing of each WSO has, hey, you have your state championships, you have your regional championship, and then you have maybe AO finals and then nationals as like a tiered, structured system to qualify. But then you end up with the situations of, you have Florida, that's a massive WSO full of talent. And then you have something like Pacific Northwest or Mountain North, where we have one state that's really popular in terms of weightlifting. You have 2, exactly. And then you have like 2, 3, 4 that are just Montana, Idaho, right? And it's like, who's there? 5 lifters? So it's just unfair in terms of qualification. It's like, how do you divvy that up then? So it's a tough situation.
Do you not see raising the totals as like a viable solution to this? It's like all right.
It comes down to what's the purpose of it? What's the intent? If you want it to
what is the purpose?
National level something. We don't know. You saw. Tell us, Phil. What is the answer here? You made this a thing.
Isn't Phil working for like USA Fencing now?
Oh yeah, he made that jump quick. Oh, nice. He made that jump quick. He said, "Vegas transition." Yeah. Phil goes to fencing. USADA COO comes to USAW. Man, what a switch.
What? So in your
did it freeze?
I don't think so. Did you freeze?
I might have. I'm good though.
I think I was good now. So still that you didn't even realize it. I was so collected with my thoughts. Yes, that you didn't even notice. In your opinion, what is the purpose of the American Open?
In my opinion, it's one of those things that's meant to grow the sport. It's a semi-national meet, mid-tier meet. It's nothing that's super crazy, but it's also nothing that's going to be your local meet. It's that thing that a lot of people would aspire to. It's that thing that gets a lot of weightlifters involved. It grows the sport. It gets people talking about it. It gets people going to these things, seeing it. And it's one of those super expensive marketing events for weightlifting in the U.S., at least. That's how I look at it.
Okay. I can dig it. I can get behind that. If it is intended to grow the sport, shouldn't you allow as many people as possible to compete there? Shouldn't you arrange the event so that as many people can compete in it as possible, rather than set a cap on athletes that, gets met within 4 hours?
That's a fine line, though, because you want as many people to go as possible, but then you also don't want the person going that's lifting the 5-kilo empty plates that are yay big, right? So then it's, hey, you want to show people that are the middle ground, the middle class of weightlifting.
All roads lead back to raising the qualifying totals.
They absolutely do need to be raised. How much is the question, but they do need to be
raised. How much? Jake, go ahead and flash the qualifying totals up on the screen right now so that everyone can see them. We'll start with the open men. What weight class do you think
about it?
Okay. What weight class do you think represents, the average man in America? I think weighs 175 pounds. I think that's the average body weight for a man. I haven't gotten there yet, but I aspire to.
81 is probably going to be the best.
So
and the most popular class.
81 kilo, you can post a 203 total. So you can snatch 83, clean and jerk 120. So for my red-blooded Americans that are watching this, that's a 185 snatch and a 265 clean and jerk. I think if you walked into your average CrossFit gym, most of your regular goers there, so not your Gen Pop, but people who are there on a regular basis, they're not the fire breathers of the class, but they are some of the higher level people, can do those numbers.
Yeah, they probably could. And that's, again, if you look at it from
95, 255.
You also look at CrossFit Games, and you're going to have all the male athletes or all the female athletes that could step onto any USAW competition and be top 5.
That is true.
So if we're basing this off of CrossFit,
are you saying that CrossFitters are good at weightlifting? Because I disagree.
It depends on which box you go to. That's true.
It depends. I had a meme ready to post that was just about why in almost every CrossFit gym, why, if snatching and clean and jerk are such a big part of CrossFit, why does everyone fucking suck at them? Why can't the general you're there 5 days a week and you
have to take a level 1 course?
Have I I have not.
That's why. That's why. You can see how they teach it in the level 1 course. It's PVC pipes, it's bad cues, it's bad instruction to the leaders of the gyms, essentially. So if you don't have the knowledge,
are you saying that jump is a bad cue?
jump up and back, big chest, tight back, head up, big air.
Listen,
Coach Mike, we want you.
Mike Bergner gave us the Bergner warm up, gold medal. Someone got that guy a fucking Nobel Prize. Sage Bergner gave us the explosive jump as high as you can cue. The Bergner family can do no wrong. So if you're saying that the jump cue is bad, that's where I'll have to stop you and end the podcast right there. Do we jump
if we look at
on our cleans and our snatches? You know the right answer.
We're not going to answer, But if we look at that, Bergner coached who? Greg and Amy, right? And the Everetts are just the
So here's the thing.
Weightless.
Sometimes people get really good and proficient in spite of their early experiences in the sport. I think Greg was bound to be the Call of Duty guy, Mike Bergner or not.
Call of Duty guy, yes. Weightlifting aficionado, also yes.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
It's one of those things that it's, hey, my parents raised me like this, I'm going to raise my kids in a different way, right?
Yes, I like that. That's good.
But no, back to totals though. If you're looking at it from if you walk into a gym.
What about 10%?
10% of what?
Increase.
Raising the totals?
Across the board.
On the male side, probably. I feel like if we're looking at the 81 class, if it's You're snatching 83, you're clean and jerking 120. A body weight snatch, 1.5 body weight clean and jerk. That's a pretty solid place to be, I'd say, for a competition like this. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less. But for something like this where it is, hey, we want people who have been doing this for a while, who can move pretty well, we want to show them and have them compete, there you go. I think that's a fair margin. Maybe a little bit more, but I agree with that.
You're such a simp for Utah. You are in the pocket of big weightlifting at this point. Listen, raise the totals across
that doesn't hold
by 20% and see what happens. Just see what happens. If you give people
other weight
higher bar to shoot for. What?
That doesn't line up with other weight classes. The bodyweight snatch, 1.5 bodyweight clean and jerk. You have a plus 109 that has a 240 entry total.
So are you suggesting that just make that the baseline? 1.5% clean and jerk, or 1.5 times clean and jerk? 1.5%. You have to be able to clean and jerk 1.5% of your body weight. Snatch your body weight. Snatch your body weight. Clean and jerk 1.5. Is that's your metric?
I think that's fair.
I don't hate that's fair
as a base point.
I don't hate it.
Like as a starting point, it can evolve over time, but if you go based off of however they do it now, where it's 80% of the average total put up on the platform from the previous year or something weird like that, or like the top 5, it's like a weird, I don't even know if they do it anymore for AO, but if they were to just recalibrate everything today, for the men, I think that's a good point. And for the women, I think that's a good point to say, hey, this is where we're at. We want to talk qualifying totals, though. On the women's side of things, they need to be bumped substantially.
They're low.
The sport has grown on that side.
They're low. What? Do you know how they got these numbers? How they're arriving at these numbers? Because they haven't changed them in a while, right? They've been roughly the exact same, plus or minus a few kilos for a while now, right?
For this, yeah. For AO, it is. For nationals,
it has.
It has changed, and it changes a pretty good amount every year. But I don't know how they do it for this. This might just be one of those things that they set it and they were like, okay, let's see how it does. But I know that for like international team qualification, it's one of those weird things that it's like, hey, we take the top 5 from worlds in this weight class. We average out those totals, and the minimum total for someone to be on Team USA is something like 83% of that they have to put up to even be considered for selection. And it's a weird, complex process like that. People can correct us if we're wrong. But for AO...
Don't correct us. We hate that. We hate when people correct us. Only tell us that.
Correct me. Don't correct Ryan. But for AO1, AO2, I think it's really just shit in a bucket. They threw it at the wall. It stuck. And they stuck with it.
Is that a say? Shit in a bucket?
It sounded right. Does
it mean like just pull your pants down, aim at a bucket and shit? Because I feel like that's dead on.
Convenient.
Or what? How? Okay.
It's stinky. It sits in the barn. It was convenient at the time, and nobody wants to touch it because it's been sitting there for so long, right? Oh, shit in a bucket.
I'm learning things every day. All right. I think that snatching your body weight, clean and jerking 1.5 times is nice. I think that really... Does that work for like 109s though? So if you're a 109, you would have to snatch, obviously 109.
260 entry total? I think that's fair.
And you would have to clean and jerk. Yeah, I guess that works. All right. Someone bang a gavel. We decree this is the change that has to be made. Now, what is the
nationals for totals? Yeah, the 109 and 3
totals are great. National totals,
they're perfect. They're where they need to be for a high level.
They're fantastic.
Competition in the U.S.
But
that margin there is just so far.
Yeah. So what's a percent of the national total? Why don't we just do like a percentage? So if the qualification for team is you have to hit 85% of, what did you say, the world's total?
It's something weird like that. It's like the top 5 at worlds, they average it out. They take 83% of that. And to be selected, you have to have a total that's higher than that. Something like that, if I remember.
That's what they did. Let's take this 81, 274, and we'll say it's 85%. That's a number that I like. 232 for the 81s. What did we say the 81s were over in series?
Like 211.
211.
203.
Yeah. Okay.
203.
All right. I like that better. Like you've got to
83% of that?
Yeah. 83% of whatever nationals is that year or finals is that year.
Just tier it up.
Why not? Why not? If you want to push the sport of weightlifting forward, you have to make people better at weightlifting. I don't think that American Open series totals are driving people to get better at weightlifting. If you don't believe me, go into the back room, just sneak into the back room.
Side room.
Warm-up room.
Side room.
Yeah, side room, sorry. The
side area.
The curtains there, go where the curtains are. And just watch some of the technique, watch some of the cues. Like, this is not good weightlifting that we're seeing at AO series. And if we want to push, you got to give people a higher bar to shoot for than what they're currently shooting for. And an 81 hitting a 203, if you're an 81 kilo lifter and you're listening to this and your total is 203 or less, you're bad at weightlifting, all right? You're just not very good at it. And you should get better. You should feel compelled to get better. Or just be like, I'm a guy who weightlifts. I'm not a weightlifter. I'm just some guy. I do these two movements. Don't call yourself a weightlifter yet. You haven't made it there yet.
You're a CrossFitter at that point.
You're essentially a recreational CrossFitter who doesn't do any of the things that makes CrossFit actually CrossFit.
That's it. But another piece at AO is... Go ahead.
No, I was taking a deep breath. I didn't know there was another piece, but if there's another piece, I guess I can handle it.
Other piece I was going to think about is like meet selection times, like event timing throughout the year, and then also just locations. Because like if we look at nationals, for example, in terms of like growing it, right? Nationals was Vegas 4th of July weekend. Nobody's going to go to that.
Terrible.
It was
terrible.
It was hell. It was so expensive.
I heard, so I...
What is that, the Arnold?
I heard about this meet in Florida. It was called the Max Out Blackout Classic. They did their first July 4th weekend. Bad turnout. They learned their lesson. USAW. Learn your lesson from these guys in Florida. They're a pretty smart crew. But what were you saying?
Speaking of Max Out Blackout, I've heard rumors that's going to Texas April 8th with Bear Barbell.
Can't confirm these rumors yet.
Float in the wind, maybe?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I just
you
got to talk to Brittany first. Brittany calls.
Got to talk
around here.
We got to confirm it. No, but like there's so much that can be done there in terms of how they schedule it out. Because if you have it not even like chronologically line up, you have AO1, you have nationals, you have AO2, and then you have AO finals. You would think that you would go AO1, AO2, AO finals, nationals at least in terms of an order throughout the year. But having them line up with international events that keep your top dogs out of these local national competitions, for one, is an error, because then you just lose so many spectators. But then it's like, when do you play it? When do you compete? How do you peak for these things? Like, it's a shit show. It's more shit in a bucket.
Imagine shit in the bucket if the NFL followed that lead. They were like, all right, we're going to play 8 games, and then we're going to play the Super Bowl based on who has the best record. And then from the Super Bowl, we're going to transition into 4 additional regular season games, followed by the playoffs, and then we'll finish out the regular season there at the end.
That's it. That's exactly what you would line up to put out the percent.
I kind of like it.
Who's the top dog? Who's the 1 seed after the first 4 games that are just slam the other guys?
Yep. Turns out MBU was the number 1 seed, so they went to the Super Bowl. Bad things happened.
That's TCU played the Buccaneers 2 years ago.
Shit in a bucket.
Shit in a bowl. Shit in a bowl.
Damn it.
Horny toads.
Now you got me off track. What was I going to say? Okay, another piece. I agree with that. Scheduling. The fuck? What like a preschooler do you have running the scheduling for that. Like, let's get a logical order here that feeds forward. You saw how, if you've ever been to AO series, if you've ever been to even like AO finals, even honestly nationals as well, how do you put butts in seats? Because the turnout there was like depressing. Like, bodybuilding is a sport that is strange, but they get a better turnout than weightlifting. How do you get butts in seats? Because no one wants to go for a PR attempt in front of like 4 like uncles of a competitor who's like competing on that platform over there, and they're just like lost and confused.
Like, where's the stars platform? There's no
like, when are they bench pressing?
Maybe that's the secret. We give people either board shorts or Speedos, G-strings, and
I think Tyler Turner. I think Gifted Barbell Club's own Tyler Turner supports this rule.
That would be a fun rule. We're all just lifting in Borat-esque banana hammocks. That would be interesting. But
is that just a doomed cause? Am I barking up a tree where nothing will ever happen in terms of
like
looking at butts and seats? Yeah.
I think that we'll see a bit. I feel like Max and Seb talked about this on an episode of the Weightlifting House podcast, where they were talking about some of the things that might change if weightlifting gets booted out of the Olympics. Kind of like how powerlifting has grown to be more of a spectator-friendly sport. Not that it was ever really like in the Olympics or anything, but like weightlifting tries so hard to keep up this prestigious air about it that it's one of these things that it's like a white glove, black tie event in some people's eyes. Whereas if it does get booted from the Olympics, it then shifts from, we're an Olympic sport, we're better than everybody else, to let's have some fun. And there's not as many restrictions, there's not as many regulations, music's blasting, lights flashing, who knows, challenge cards, weird lifts, no more press out rule, who knows?
That sounds pretty nice. Cash prizes.
You could not $50 in an Element packet or an RP Diet app subscription with a Calicure hand care kit.
You're upsetting me. Now you're upsetting me. I'm getting the flashbacks again.
You have the
Carbs less this week. I was only at 200. How does a guy eat negative 100?
Get rid of them somehow.
My thinking is always like, if people watch golf, they'll watch weightlifting. Weightlifting is more of a spectator sport, in my opinion, than golf is. I think it's more of a spectator sport than powerlifting is as well. I don't know why powerlifting got more popular. Why did powerlifting get more popular? Because they let everybody take drugs?
Maybe.
That helps.
It does. Get another organization, another federation.
I mean,
Gladiator Weightlifting League on the come up.
Let's table this for next week's episode, but I think that we should talk about what the possibility for a total is if doping is 100% allowed.
What the qualification total would be?
Yeah, to start thinking about that.
Oh,
have we fixed the American Open now?
So what are bullet points? Bullet points, higher entry totals.
Higher entry totals. Snatch your body weight, 1.5 times your body weight clean as the entry total. You don't necessarily have to do those numbers. Like if you're a snatch specialist like Evan, you can clean your body weight and snatch 1.5 times your body weight if you'd like.
That's right.
So higher total
snatch, 100 kilo, clean and jerk. There you go.
Balance.
Efficiency. 1.5. Scheduling. Not around international competition.
So how does it go?
Not around
AO1,
holidays.
AO2, AO finals, nationals, right? Is that right?
Bingo, bango, bongo. That is correct.
Love it.
And three, spectators. Get butts in seats.
But how?
That's the question.
Loud music, lights, an MC. Why isn't the official at the officials table emceeing the event as well? And why is she wearing a suit? Man, the more I think about this stuff, the more I'm quite
tuxedo t-shirt.
Put him in a Tommy Bahama t-shirt, like the fucking. I want to see 2 buttons maximum from the bottom, and some board shorts. I want my official dressed like my touchy uncle. That's what I want. That's the experience that I'm looking for out of Nat.
These dishes just came back from a weekend at Bernie's.
That's what I want to see. Spice it up. I'm bored.
Speaking of officials, though, announcers, there's this one guy. I don't know his name. He sounds like an old grandpa from New Jersey. He has the.
What does he seem like his name is? Just name him.
He'd be a Frank.
Okay.
I could see him being a Frank. Everybody's going to know who I'm talking about. He's at every national level meet. He's this little old guy with this like thick Jersey accent who just goes off on people. He has no filter, but he is so nice.
Can we find Frank's contact info?
Can we get this guy on the podcast?
To have on the Big Friday pod.
That's it.
All right. We fixed it. We fixed American Open. If you were able to register, congrats. Good job.
We'll see you there.
We'll see you there, guys. If you're someone who's still on the wait list, don't give up hope. Remember that USAW loves money more than they love the sport of weightlifting, so there's a very good chance that they'll give you a wait list registration spot. And for the low price of $599, they'll go and let you put up a 203 kilo total as a 96 kilo male. Make sure
That's it.
You bring your M Session medal home, hanging on your wall, and never let people forget that you are a national level weightlifter and a session champion.
And if one of the AO events is in Canada, you are an international Team USA athlete.
What do you think about that? That's pretty cool.
Like some fun
t-shirt out of that. American Open.
I competed at Q2 in Calgary.
2023. International. USA international level weightlifter.
Team USA athlete, kinda. In parentheses.
For the most part. All right. Evan, anything you want to leave the people with?
I don't think so.
Most people listen to they're like, yo, like, comment, subscribe. I don't want anyone to do any of that. I want you guys to leave us alone for the most part. Let us record these in peace. Don't disagree with us. Don't tell us what we should talk about. We're going to control the guests and the ghosts. Yeah.
All of them. We have Ouija boards.
We're going to control the guests. We're going to control the topics. And then we're going to post it, and you're going to enjoy it because it's going to be good. Remember, tag us on your story, though, so that we can message your coach. We, the two of us, are your coach's worst nightmare until
That's it.
You join Gifted Barbell Club. Then
you're Gifted _ Barbell Club.
Yee. Evan, make up a sign-off right now. Go.
Kazuki. We'll see you next time.
Oh, I hate it so much. Hey, guys, enjoy your Big Friday. Remember that your program is merely a suggestion, and every day can be Big Friday if you want it to be. Mass blackout state of mind. We'll see you on the next one. Who cares? Then Skazuki your way through your day.